2010 is when responsive design started to become a big thing. Then the next big trend was what we now see in Squarespace and what we consider to be Squarespace sites, which are what is what you get editors, WYSIWYG editors, and where you can drag elements to how you want them, and then the computer magic, the computer redesigns it for you into a mobile site. So that that bit of it does a lot of the responsive thinking for you, although you still have to look at your website on mobile, on desktop, and look at the different designs and see how they play out. You also have to figure out how they look on different types of phones and different quality of phones. There's a lot of things to consider when you're thinking about website usage. But for most personal websites, you can still pretty much design a desktop first site with a little bit of mobile capability, and that should be good. But yes, sites like Squarespace, it's the what is what you get editor. So it's visual instead of code. You're not manually doing the math or like thinking of the breakpoints. So if you're a super talented front end designer, it's a really hard skill to make things look good on mobile and on desktop. Then you get Squarespace, which basically took the foundations of the site and made it easier for you to do responsive. And Squarespace-esque sites, the drag and drop element sites, have become very popular in the past 10 to 15 years, where you just drag and drop an element and it's what you see the actual design. You're writing into the actual design, and you can see how that changes on the page. The disadvantages of that type of design, and for someone like me who is very used to writing in a content management system where you have just like title, heading, subheading, and your fields, is that nothing gets templated. A lot in Squarespace sites is just built to order, which means that there's not the things that computers do well in creating content, which like surfacing content in feeds or replicating templates. That's not always there in a Squarespace site. And it's really easy to, especially if you are building your own website, just build everything from scratch. But then that means if you want to change one thing, unless you've properly templated you have to go back and change every single page. It takes a really long time. The other problem with those sites, the straight up WYSIWYG visual templates, they encourage you to use a lot of really big images, and those look beautiful, but they load so slowly. And when you're trying to reach people on their phones, no matter where they are, like I always think of a busy person on the bus or on the subway, looking at their phone, trying to get some information. And if it's taking forever to load because you have really big images and a really complex design, they're not going to tune in on the webpage. So they're just going to go to the next tab, or they're just going to exit out.